Hello, my lovely friends. My name is Rue. How do you do? I am an autistic adult, and this video is a part of my series where I just ramble about being autistic and my experiences. So let's make another one. So what are we going to talk about today? Today, I wanted to talk about I have a squishy, by the way. I want to talk about the good things, like the things I like about my brain. And these are things that I have always liked about myself, which I knew were different from other people, and I was like, these are really good things about myself. I don't know why I am this way and other people are not, but I identified these things about myself before I knew what autism was, and then I learned what autism was, and I was like, ooh, got it. That's why. So these are the things that I like about myself that I wouldn't want to change. Because obviously there's challenges to being an autistic person in a very neurotypical world. But there are things about it that are also very good and that are very, that are strengths, that perhaps other people may not have. So let's just talk about it. And I didn't plan this video, so I'm probably going to forget everything as I normally do, but that's what these videos are. So, number one. I don't know why I'm numbering them because I'm not going to remember the numbers. But the first thing is, in the autism community, they call them special interests, which are very, almost obsessive interests, that autistic people have, and we will often almost become experts in a subject that interests us. And I've always been this way, and I knew I was this way, and sometimes I think you have this in-between space where you're not into, you lose interest in one thing and then you are looking for the next interest. And I knew when I didn't have that thing, I wasn't as happy. Does that make sense? And so I pretty much always have at least one thing that I'm really, really interested in, and I'm constantly thinking about it and wanting to learn about it or do it or whatever. And these things are things. They bring me a lot of joy. And so ever since I was a little kid, I've always had very, very extreme interests. And the first that I can remember was very generally animals were always an interest for me, and they still are. More specifically, I remember being very, very, very obsessed with pet rats, which I think is strange to some people because people think rats are gross or whatever, but they're not. They're not. But anyways, I became very, very obsessed with pet rats, and I remember I was a child, and this was when we first had at home desktop computers, and so I would come home from school and I would be so excited about getting on my computer and researching pet rats. And I would literally have pieces of paper where I'd write notes. And I was really big into forums. Do you guys remember forums? This was before social media. But so there were pet rat forums, and I was really active on them. And as my interest evolved, I was into other forums as well before they went to the wind. I wish I was really into pet rats. I've had numerous little rodent friends. But that was a big interest for me when I was young. And I would kind of cycle through different animals. And I would get really into like researching them. And so, yeah, it's like you have really passionate interests. And I've always had really passionate interests. And another one is horses, which consumed a large majority of my life. I worked at horse farms. I rode horses. I was constantly researching and I was constantly thinking about it. Like, if I was, for example, sitting in a classroom in high school, I would basically like put my head down on a desk and I would like think about horses, like think about riding and like try to picture like, I don't know, horses. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like I would be much happier in my own little world, which I think sometimes like would concern people. Like my teachers and stuff, they'd think I was like depressed or something because I wasn't participating. And I was very much in my own world and I didn't talk a lot. So, but I just really liked thinking about horses or whatever my interest was, I didn't want to be at school. I didn't care about school. But yeah. Anyways, this has become a very long point, but the point of this is I really like how into my interests I am and how much joy they bring me. That's always been something I like about myself, because I can really focus on something and get good at it, because that's the only thing I want to do, so that's one thing I really like about my brain. Okay, and then let's move on. Number 2, I'm numbering again. We're numbering. Okay. Number 2 is I like that I see detail. Like, I think I notice things that other people may just not pay a lot of attention to. And I was reading at one point about like autism, and someone said that autistic people can't see the forest like past the tree, which is like we're really focused on one detail and we have a hard time seeing the bigger picture or whatever, which I think is very accurate for me anyways. For example, like when I'm out hiking, which is something I'm very interested in, one of my very strong interests at the moment, I will get so distracted by like a really cool mushroom or some moss or like animals. I love seeing animals, but I'll like really focus in on these little details and I get very excited about them, and I feel like that isn't a neurotypical trait necessarily. Like, at least in my experience, it doesn't seem like people, it seems like people have an easier time like not paying attention to those little details. Does that make sense? And so that's something I like about myself, is that I am often very good at seeing little details, and those details make me very happy. And I think I appreciate things that other people might just pass by and not notice. So I have like a good appreciation for the little things, and the little things bring me a lot of joy. And I think that's a really good quality. And then along the same lines, I'm very good at problem solving, like in a like hands-on puzzle kind of way. Does that make sense? Like, I'm good at finding the most efficient, optimal way of doing things. Does that make sense? Like, I'm very much a perfectionist in the way that I do stuff. Like, I want it to be the best way, and that's so I'm very good at problem solving, in a hands-on way, not like in a social communicative way. I'm not good at human relations. Like, I'm good at doing things. I'm good at doing things. I'm not good at communicating things. Am I making a point? I don't know. But I'm good at solving problems. I'm good at, like, I'm good at writing out directions in a way that is very, very detailed, because that's the way that I like things. I like things to be very, very detailed. I need to know all of the details, you know? I don't like guessing. I don't like assuming. I want to know exactly how something should be done. And I don't know. But anyways, I'm good at puzzles. I like puzzles. I like hands-on stuff. I like working alone. I'm not good at group work because that involves communicating. But I am very efficient. I am very efficient. I'm very detail oriented. I want everything to be correct, like as correct as possible. I'm very much like a perfectionist, but not really. Like, I don't know. I just like things to be right as possible, as right as possible. Does that make sense? I'm also a really hard worker. Like, I hold myself to a very high standard, which is maybe not always a good thing, because I definitely push myself too hard at times because I feel like I have to keep up with everyone else. But anyways, we're talking about good things, not bad things. But yeah, I'm a very good problem solver, and I love puzzles. And my brain is very good at working puzzles. I was always a big fan of algebra in high school, which I think a lot of people don't like algebra, but I loved it because it was like a puzzle. But yeah, I like puzzles, and as long as they're not like spoken word puzzles, but like abstract puzzles, I'm good at. Yeah. Okay. We're numbering things. So number 3, I think I have a strong sense of like social justice. I always want to do the right thing, and I always try to do the most correct thing in the moment. And obviously I haven't always had the knowledge to do the most correct thing all of my life, but I'm constantly learning. And I'm willing to change my viewpoint when I come across new information. And I don't know. I want to treat people correctly. I want to make people feel good, because I think I know what it feels like to not be treated correctly, and I don't want other people to feel that way. And I want everyone to have the same opportunities, and like, I don't know, I don't want people to be treated poorly, and I don't think everyone cares about that as much. And so I think that's a common autistic thing, is that we have a strong sense of like moral justice, social justice. That seems to be quite common, and I think we're also pretty accepting group of people. I mean, obviously not everyone is going to be like that. We're all different. But I do feel like because we're constantly asking like why, we kind of like are always learning and wanting to do better, you know? So that's something I like. I also like that I am very happy by myself. I'm very happy to be alone. I am very happy to just do my hobbies by myself. I don't need people around me. I don't need a lot of socialization. And yeah, I think that's a good trait because I think it's good to be happy in your own company. I think that's a very good, healthy trait. I mean, I might take it to an extreme, but I can usually always be happy in my own company. I also like that I am like constantly questioning things. Like I don't just do something because someone else told me to, or because like everyone's always done it this way. I'm always like, why am I doing this? Does this make sense for me? And if it doesn't, then I don't do it. And I don't care about like peer pressure. I don't care what everyone's doing. I don't care what anyone's done in the past. I want to find the best, most correct way for myself. So I think it's good that I don't care a lot about that like social peer pressure that other people might care more about. I think that's a good trait because I'm able to evolve my beliefs and like everyone has biases, but I feel like I question my biases a lot because I know they exist. And if I am given information that conflicts with something I believe, then I'm like, okay, I need to look into this more and perhaps change that thought process. Like I'm not as prone to that like very human response of like someone confronts your bias and then you immediately get defensive. I'm more like I'm given information that conflicts and I'm like, that's interesting. I need to look into that more. Which I think also maybe can be a bad thing because I want to believe people are telling the truth always, which they aren't. And so sometimes people lie to you, but then I can look it up and be like, is this true? And if it's not, I'm like, oh, okay, they're wrong. Which I think is another point. I am not a liar. I cannot. I cannot lie, although I can. It's just very difficult. And I don't want to. I don't like lying. I will always tell the truth. And if it's possible. And, if it's not going to hurt the other person. Because I know sometimes, I don't know. You can't always tell the truth without hurting someone. Which I think my response in that situation is just to be quiet instead of saying something. I don't know. I don't lie. That's a thing that I don't do. And I'm just not very good at it. And I don't see the point in it. Like, I'm not very good at manipulating people. I don't know. It's just, it's not something, I'm not good at, I think it's like a social thing. Like being able to lie. Like you're able to manipulate a social situation, which is just not a nuance that autistic people are good at. Does that make sense? So I'm a very honest person. Yeah. I'm also very good at like repetitive tasks. And I think a lot of people like don't want to do, like, for instance, jobs that are repetitive and the same thing over and over. But I do. Like I very much like knowing what I'm doing and being good at what I'm doing and knowing what to expect. And so I'm very good at repetitive, like repeating tasks, and I like repetitive tasks. Which I don't think is something that everyone likes, but it is what I like. Like, I don't do very well in jobs that are very unexpected. Is that the right word? Like there's something different every day, or you don't know what to expect, or like things pop up that are unexpected. Not good at those jobs. But I am good at repetitive, hands-on, repeating tasks. Like, I love that. Especially if there are things that I can just zone out and like listen to a podcast while I'm doing it. So good. But I don't feel like that's very common. Most jobs aren't just tasks. Like, there's so much more. And that's where I struggle. Like, there's always like social components and communication components that destroy me. But that's something I'm very good at. Anyways, I don't know if I covered everything, but those are a few things that I like about being autistic. And those are the reasons why I would never want to change how my brain works. Like, obviously, there are a lot of challenges that I think would be made easier if the world would be more accommodating for different types of brains. But as of right now, it makes it very difficult to exist in our society, which is unfortunate. But there are so many good things about being an autistic person. And I think if the world recognized that, like, we could be a better, I don't know, we could be better. We could be a really, what am I trying to say? Like imagine if we could accommodate for autistic needs, and then, because we have a lot of really awesome strengths, but if we're not accommodated for, we can't use them in the world, you know? Does that make sense? Anyways. What I'm trying to say is autistic people are awesome. You are awesome if you're autistic. You have a lot of awesome strengths that maybe other people don't have. And our brains are really cool. So, yeah. Anyways, I think I've rambled enough in this video, so yep. Say goodbye to Mr. Avocado. I appreciate you guys hanging out as always. I love you all. You all are awesome. You're all welcome here. I appreciate you being here and listening to me blather on about autism. And I'll see you in the next video.